What's going on? Welcome back to the Friarside Chat. We have another special off-season edition for you today.
Where's the money?
Where's the money?
Where's the money?
Yeah. So if you saw the first special episode of the off-season, we alluded to the Padres. And where's the money?
I don't know.
As well as some trades and some free agent talk. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. Let's hop into it. The big topic coming from an article by The Athletic was about a $50 million loan that the San Diego Padres took out was it in September?
Yeah, to help basically finance some short
cash flow
issues.
Yeah, issues.
Regarding to payroll.
Yeah.
How do you not have that on lock? How do you not? How does that shock you and have to get a loan out of nowhere? And it wasn't only just for 50.
Yeah.
They were asking the MLB to award them $100 million.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
$100 million?
That's more than most teams' payroll, right?
That's more than our payroll was in 2019. It was 97 in 2019.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is now? 2019 to 2023, from 97 million to...
It's like 200 plus.
248 million.
Jesus.
And we're having to get a loan for maybe 100. We get a loan for 50. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a coincidence that next year they're at 250.
Yeah.
They needed a loan for 100, but now they're trying to cut the payroll salary down to 200. Mm-hmm. So they need to cut 50. The 50 they did not get approved for.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Math.
Well, so here's another aspect of it too, though. Right? Was I don't know all the specifics, but the Padres have been like exceeding collective bargaining taxes and all the weird, like having to pay fines and whatnot. So I remember at least hearing somewhere, I remember hearing somewhere that it's like, yes, they broke the threshold, but then it's like, there's like these weird tiers where as every dollar that you like go above, it gets multiplied by more.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, I could be part of that too, is just them, being okay with breaking that threshold and now just kind of getting pinched and then having to take out loans for it. So that could be another reason where they're like, oh, that sucked. Like, let's cut payroll to not do that again.
I mean, someone internally did say this was part of their long-term plan, or that taking out this loan is in alignment with their long-term plan. But, like, I don't know, man. You're coming off of sellout season, so that has to be encouraging, right? So maybe it is part of the plan to put out championship quality teams so that you build that to be a common reoccurrence. And as you have that cash flow come in, as you make playoffs and get extra revenue, which they did not get this year, which I'm sure they were low-key banking on.
Yeah.
Maybe it is part of the long-term plan. I don't know, but it doesn't look great. We can all acknowledge that it does not look great.
It doesn't look great.
And we're already on the books for almost $214 million.
No.
Not including Blake Snell, he's gone. Mm-hmm. Hader, he's gone. Mm-hmm. Waka, Lugo, Martinez, they're gone. That 214 takes that into account. It does not take into account, however, replacing those players.
Tough.
They're in a tough spot. That's where, trading Soto is what they're looking at becoming more feasible, because it's $30 million off your books.
Right. And then even then, like the guys you just named, like that actually, I think that's a really good segue into like all the free agents that are leaving. Right. So here's a list, and I might have even missed some, but we've got Lugo, Waka, Martinez, Choi, Cooper, Garcia, Hader, Rich Hill, Pomeranz, oh no, Profar, Sanchez, and Snell. So that is 12 players. And I think that it's like you're talking about like 5 or 6 like quality pitchers.
Yes.
That you have to fill.
I mean, what's left of the staff is Yu Darvish and Musgrove, which are their cornerstones.
Sure.
But both are coming off injury.
Yeah.
What?
Right. You want them to shoulder 200 innings coming off injuries, like.
And them declining Waka? They declined Waka's option.
Waka? That's surprised me.
Lugo took the option.
He walked
his player option. He could leave.
He's like, I'm out of here.
Yep. Martinez was a shocker.
That was a shock to me.
He walked away, and he was making good money.
Yeah.
Silver lining. If you've watched our other episodes, I'm a huge fan of Martinez and what he is to our team. Guy. But I didn't realize how much he was getting paid. And it could be a silver lining him leaving.
Could be.
It clears up some space. I'll miss him. I hope he does well wherever he goes.
Do you think he'll get paid more elsewhere?
Maybe he'll get opportunity elsewhere to where he gets to do what he wants to do.
Maybe he'll start somewhere else. That's kind of what he wants.
But then Waka getting declined from us?
That one doesn't make sense.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
So you have to replenish an entire starting pitching staff.
You got to also pay Matt Carpenter $5.5 million.
Matt Carpenter,
and they're going to drop him.
Matt Carpenter.
Oh my god!
Exercises player option.
I wish
no
I was
duh.
Matt Carpenter this year, dude.
Dude. Didn't play this year. He's getting paid $5.5 million. And good for him, I guess. But like, oh my
it's
god,
the part of the business. It's it's the contract that he signed. So like, you can't fault Matt Carpenter. And to his credit too, he was like the most professional about not playing ever. He just seems like a great dude. He's put it this way: Matt Carpenter is such a good guy that they would not give up his roster spot on the team, and they're going to still pay him 5.5 and then drop him. That's how good of a dude he is.
I remember last year they were saying we would rather have him in the clubhouse than have a guy get pulled up from AAA to pinch it every now and then.
Right.
But again, if you haven't seen our other episode, we go off on why AJ Preller and these contracts are killing us and why he needs to go. So check that out. But either way, I mean, we're in a tough spot where we need to replace a lot of good talent.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking at a lot of players who really helped the Padres play well. They were the bright spots of our last year and weren't the underperformers. I mean, Rich Hill, Cooper, Choi, sure. But like, I'm not counting them. I'm talking Gary Sanchez, who came in and held down the catcher position and gave an offensive spark in an area where we haven't seen it in years.
Yeah.
I'm talking Lugo and Waka filling a 4-5 spot in the rotation, looking like 2 and 3s.
Yep. Yeah,
the whole year.
Awesome.
They played so well.
So well.
And then you've got a Cy Young player who pitched almost the entire season at an unbelievable clip. Mm-hmm. You have to replace all that. And you're trying to save money. What is this team going to look like? And under a new manager?
I know.
Dude, I don't know what to expect. Pieces. In many ways, I'm like kind of excited. I'm on the edge of my seat being like, what is this going to be?
If you were hoping for a shakeup, that's what you're getting.
1,000%.
You know?
It's going to be a whole new team with a whole new manager, and everything's on the line.
No.
Holy shit. It could be really cool.
Maybe it's what the team needs, right? Like, maybe it is that pressure. And you still have that core nucleus of just, like, superstars, right? Like, Machado, Bogarts, Tatis are going to be there.
Jake Cronenworth, Soto.
Oh, interesting you bring that up. So, circling back a little bit to that $50 million loan, there's actually a couple of takeaways that I had, right? Like, we kind of knew they were being transparent, Padres management, about like, hey, we do need to cut payroll. They told everybody that last year before this article came out, but people didn't really know to the extent. But I think a couple things become extremely clear, and one of those things, actually, hold on, two. One real quick, I'm not going to cover much. Padres aren't going to sign Ohtani.
Yeah, no shot.
No shot. That's abundantly clear.
That was a pipe dream.
That was
then.
They were in the conversation 6 months ago, whatever, right? But anyways, just throwing that out there. And then the other thing that becomes extremely clear too, I think, is you alluded to it. Soto has got to get traded, and possibly throwing in Jake Cronenworth.
And who would have thought Jake Cronenworth wouldn't be a positive clip? It would be like we need to get rid of his salary.
Yeah.
And again, because
bad
Preller
contracts
freaking gives him a huge extension. You cannot tell me.
How much
even before this year.
How much is he making?
7 years, $80 million, something like that.
Okay. Dang.
Almost $100 million.
Yeah.
Almost $100 million extension. And on top of that, dude, there was not a single team holding a pen out, waiting for Jake Cronenworth to hit the free agent market and going, we're going to sign him.
Oh, we need to sign him.
So you paid high on a guy that you didn't even need to. And I like Jake Cronenworth. He's fine. He's played like shit for a year now, a year plus.
Even it's funny because even the 2022 season wasn't that good, but I think people think it was really good because he was an all-star. But if you look at it, it's like, why was he an all-star?
Because every other second baseman sucked too. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, one of the least deserving all-stars. And again, like I like Jake Cronenworth, but he didn't deserve to be at the all-star game.
Yeah,
he didn't deserve this contract extension.
22, he didn't.
Yeah,
the other one he kind of did.
He did
the first one, but again. But anyway, so I think as a result of learning more about these financial, whatever you want to call them, woes, I think that's going to happen. I think Soto's got to go.
Yeah, because right now, realistically, you can't re-sign him. You don't have the funds to re-sign him and give him the offer that you were hoping to. He's not going to extend. His agent always likes testing the free agent market. Mm-hmm. We're not going to win that. And the odds of us winning a World Series are not high.
Yeah.
So you really just need to look at it like, can we get rid of him, still be competitive, make playoff runs, still be World Series goal-oriented, but also be realistic and try and think about the future a little bit more and just get rid of him and lower some of the salary obligations.
Yep.
It makes sense. Who do you think makes the most sense to trade with? Because there's a lot of speculation on that too.
I've heard a couple teams. I heard Cubs. I don't know what the package would be, but I think the one that makes the most sense, and you sent me an article, was the Yankees.
Yeah.
Makes the most sense.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
And I think he'd thrive in New York.
I think it would just be a lot of fun for baseball. Can you imagine having Judge and Soto and what do they call the Martian? Jason Dominguez in center.
Let's not forget that they still have
Unreal.
Giancarlo Stanton. And I know he's not the same player he was, but
added
you
protection.
put those. Yeah. I mean,
Unreal.
dude, if you look at your 3, 4, 5, and it's like Soto, Judge, Stanton, be like, as a pitcher, what do you do?
I don't know.
You know? That's crazy.
No.
So that could be fun.
That could be fun for baseball.
And there's a lot
and
of
the Padres
good
don't have to see
prospects.
him very much.
Yeah, we don't have to like wear it like if you went to the Dodgers or something.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see what we get in return for that because it's going to be some youthful blood, some new major league ready prospects, maybe a solid MLB ready guy that's already proven, and hopefully some prospects we can look forward to having come up with the batch that we already have in our system.
Yep.
Because Padre fans, there are some really, really exciting prospects to see coming through the pipeline.
Yep.
Granted, we've heard that many years as Padre fans, but it feels more realistic this time. I don't know. Maybe it's because we have a cornerstone of people that like are going to hold it down, whereas before it was like we had no one to look at on our team, and I was like, but wait for the prospect. And if they didn't pan out, it was
Wait
like,
for the
oh
prospect,
my God, no.
and then it's like, oh, they'll be up next year. And it's like, Preller's like, yeah, they'll be up next year for another team because I'm going to trade them.
Yeah. Either way, it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what happens with Soto. I think he'll probably go to the Yankees.
And do you throw in Cronenworth? Do you think they'd try to throw in Cronenworth?
I think they're going to try and
It's
unload as
smart, too.
much of their payroll as they can, but I don't want to diminish the return, right? Like Jake Cronenworth, I think can play decent defense for the rest of his career.
Right.
And that's not nothing.
Big league ready, obviously.
Big league ready.
Yeah.
Shoot, they might throw him in the bullpen. Kidding.
That's right. He was a closer in college, huh?
He was a
Crazy.
good closer. Holds the
Crazy.
record in Michigan.
Really?
Anyways,
Get him on the
he
mound.
ain't doing that.
Get him on the mound.
But if Cronenworth's on our team after all is said and done, I'm not upset about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they might try to get rid of him as well.
Yeah. I did, just for fun, I did a little dive on the players that are speculated to be a part of a potential Soto to the Yankees trade. So I won't spend too much time on it, but I know how you love your prospects and
do.
your trade. So here's what we got.
do.
The cornerstone or the keystone of this trade looks like it would be Everson Pereira, who's an outfielder in the Yankees organization. 22 years old, unreal year at AAA last year. Slashed 300, 373, 548 line.
Nice.
Really good. And yeah, he's got power potential, 18 home runs, 64 RBIs, 11 stolen bases.
Power and speed?
And is praised for his defense. So, like, the dude seems like 5-tool, great package. He played a little bit in the bigs last year. Only got, I don't know. I didn't actually look how many games, but I think he was only called up, like, last
Short
month.
stint.
Batted 151. But again, take with a grain of salt.
I don't
First
take the
taste,
first-
whatever.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like the main centerpiece and could potentially, right, just throw him in center field, right? If you don't want Grisham out there, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, and the vacant left field spot too. So he's kind of like the main piece there. Then they also had two starting pitchers. Will Warren, 24-year-old, I think they're both righties.
I'll take them both. We need pitching.
I mean, this guy, mid-3 ERA, has pitched 2 seasons in the MILB between, I think it's mostly AA, AAA.
Which is good.
Yeah, really solid. Then Drew Thorpe, who's 23, Cal Poly slow guy, 2.52 ERA, over 139 innings pitched AA last year.
That's
First
pretty great.
professional year, really good.
First professional year? Mm-hmm. Shut up.
Yeah, similar to Snelling's numbers, although Snelling was even better. But again,
cool.
so it's like those are all young guys. But hey, I mean, look at the Diamondbacks. Look what they did this year.
Look at the Reds.
Yeah, Reds, Diamondbacks.
These Seattle for pitching.
Marlins a little bit.
Yeah, Marlins too.
Lots of young teams getting it done, and then mix it with that core group of like superstar veterans. You know,
You want to know something really funny about that? We're talking about that mix, right? Between veterans with experience, veterans who can lead the youngin.
Yep.
That's what Arizona did.
Yeah.
And that's what the Yankees are trying to do. Mm-hmm. I think one of their GMs or one of their higher ups pretty much said, we don't need a $300 million payroll. We need the right mix of veterans and good youthful talent.
That's the answer right there.
And can the
honestly.
Padres be in that boat?
Yeah. Well, like we
They're
talked
built
about
for it at this point now because they've got their veterans locked down.
Yeah.
Now they just need to find some young talent that can come up and produce.
That is ready
We
to
haven't
rock.
had that.
Right. But I mean, like we talked about in our last full-length episode, remember we were talking about, 22-7 in the month of September with Eggy Rosario.
Yep.
With Matt Batten.
Campusano.
With Campusano. And then add in a couple of, like, top MLB-ready guys like this.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It could
Stranger
be
things
fun.
have happened.
It could be fun. That's what I'm holding out for right now. Is
Yeah.
like we could be experiencing an evolution of the Padre franchise in the sense of we've tried to do it with nothing. That didn't work.
Right.
We tried to buy it all. That didn't work. Well, what if we just found our middle ground?
Yeah.
And we start producing championship caliber teams over periods of time to where it's not playoff windows so much as it is competitive baseball teams for years to come.
Well, like, imagine being, like, obviously there's asterisks with the Astros organization, but 7
they did really well with
championship
drafting.
series in a row? That's amazing. Like, you imagine being a fan and it's like every single year you're in it.
And they did it by drafting well.
Yeah. Alex
And a
Bregman,
couple
I think
key
they
trades.
said, has been, like, he's been in the league for like 7 years or whatever. And he's made the ALCS every single year that he's played.
How weird is that, dude?
Isn't that crazy?
At what point do you start taking that for granted, right? Be like,
Right.
we'll be back.
I mean, I'd love to be at that point. Let's get there. One other guy I didn't mention, but has actually been,
Alluded to.
in the Yankees deals is Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, which for all you youngins out there may not know, Anthony Rizzo was a Padre.
Debuted.
Yeah,
as a
debuted
Padre.
with the Padres.
We got him from Boston
Yep, Boston trade.
with Gonzalez,
As a
Adrian
top-
Gonzalez.
He was a top prospect, and everyone was hyped.
and he did really well for us.
I think did he? I
He hit
don't-
a grand slam.
He only played like 50 games or something with the Padres, but everyone was hyped. And then, of course, they ship him off to Chicago, and he has like MVP quality seasons.
Wins a World Series.
Yeah, breaks the freaking however 100+ year drought. And
We'll see.
anyways,
It's weird to think of how
Yeah.
long he's been in the league, and I still remember when he debuted.
2011 is when he debuted.
Yeah.
Woo! So for all you
Getting
youngins who didn't
old.
know that, Anthony Rizzo could be a Padre again. Don't
He'll
hate
suck
it.
if he's with us.
Don't hate it.
An upgrade at
Do you
first
think
base.
Do you think he'd be worse than Eric Hosmer?
No. No, you put the bar where I could step over it. My God.
But anyway, so that is just another piece to throw in there, which first base has been a position that the Padres haven't really gotten much production out of. So I don't hate it. What else was I going to say? We were talking about all the free agents that left, which means that the Padres are probably, budget
Conscious.
not budget conscious, I guess. We were waiting to see what the budget looks like after some of these trades, but the Padres, it seems like, are going to have to be probably pretty active in the free agent market.
Yeah. We've got to build a starting staff.
Yeah.
There's not really anyone in the minors that are going to really jump up and grab a spot, and it's theirs now.
Yeah.
Morihone is going to get a shot.
Yeah, Morihone, which the dude's got stuff.
I like Morihone. I don't
think
dislike him.
He just lacks, like, mound presence or something. I don't know. He's kind of like a Robert Suarez type guy where, like, no matter what happens, he's not going to change, which to some respect I kind of like, but at least from just seeing, like, big game pitchers and who does well, like, I like a little fieriness in my pitchers personally.
I can see his success
don't know.
trajectory being that of a Cal Quantrill.
Interesting.
Projectable stuff.
Okay.
Struggles to get off the ground.
Okay.
Has some really solid years. Has probably a year where he's like above average for real.
Yeah.
And then probably teeters off and becomes like a
Yeah.
big league 4 or 5 guy.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he just seems like a 4 or 5
But I could
guy.
picture him having like
But
2 to
his
3
stuff
years
is-
of like really good
His
production.
stuff is freaking nasty.
He's good.
He like
I mean, he could be
effortlessly
great.
throws like 99.
Yeah.
Like I was watching one of the games he was throwing. I was like, 99? Like he's just tossing up 99 like effortlessly. What's
Put it
going
in the
on?
books. I have 2 to 3 years of genuinely good production
Yeah.
out of Morihone. I don't know if it's with a Padre.
I mean,
uniform
I
on,
like that call.
but I feel
see
like
it.
it could happen for real.
I see it. So this is an interesting article that I wanted to bring up to you, and usually we send each other all these, but I wanted to
don't
save
think
this
you
one
sent
for
me
the
this
show.
one. All
I
right.
didn't on purpose. This was just talking about potential Padres picking up free agents and whatnot. And so what was really interesting about this one was that they were saying these would be relatively kind of likely if the Padres choose what's his name, Mike Schilt.
Yeah.
If Mike Schilt becomes the Padres manager, they said it's very possible that he might get some of his old Cardinals players to come because they got, obviously they had a worse season than the Padres, and pretty good.
Who are
farm
they?
system. So we've got 3 names linked.
Okay.
1, Tyler O'Neill.
Okay.
He's had his best years under Mike Schultz. And that was the thing about all 3 of these guys. They said they had very good
Performed
relationships
best
with him.
Okay.
They came up like pretty much as rookies with him on like his kind of rookie manager season, and they kind of grew and developed together. And then once he left, performance of all 3 of these guys dropped quite a
Interesting.
bit. And I mean, the Padres got him for player development, so it makes the story a little bit more interesting. But Tyler O'Neill at one point was like, I don't know which year it was, but he was like 8th in the MVP voting one year. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
And the dude flies. He's probably the most jacked guy in the MLB.
He is jacked.
He's like got potential. He just needs to strike out less. But Gold Glove defender, all the other tools are there. So they had him linked. Other ones would be Dakota Hudson, starting pitcher, who had really good years under Schultz, downhill last 2 years. But we could use some starting pitching. And possibly my favorite one, Jordan Hicks, relief pitcher. Dude's nasty.
That dude is gross.
And again, another one linked to Schultz that they said they worked really well together.
Interesting.
So those are all like...
They're all interesting.
I don't know how valid it is. Again, this is all
I also don't love
off-season
any of them,
speculation, but
I don't hate any of them. Does that
they
make sense?
fill all the needs that the Padres have.
And they could be affordable. I like that part.
Right, because
I like
they're
that part of the
all-
puzzle.
They were all... It's funny. If you look at the time when Schultz was managing them, all 3 of these guys had unreal years. And were doing really well. And young guys developing really well. And then over the last 2 seasons, all 3 of them kind of... I guess Hicks has been the best of the 3, but they've all taken quite the dip. And it's like, I don't know. Is the difference Schultz? Who knows?
Who knows?
But would you, if you remember a time of great success in your career and then your manager is like, hey, come play for me over in San Diego.
You bring up
It's
a really good point, and I haven't thought about this, and it's because you probably didn't share this with me.
Yeah.
But if Schultz is this guy who can cultivate young talent and help them find success, and that's maybe one of his pros,
Right,
his
one of his
pluses
strengths.
as a manager, could that be what we need in the sense of having a young batch of players come up and him handle that and
Right.
help them find their way and produce quickly? Because that's something that the Padres haven't had ever. And maybe it's because they've had a lot of younger managers who haven't experienced that, and maybe that could be his calling card.
Yeah.
That could be really interesting. I'm for it.
He's a development guy. So
Because we've got a lot of young guys coming up that could be impactful.
yeah. So I thought that article was really interesting and kind of why I wanted to make it a surprise for you.
I like it. I like it.
Again, the speculation is fun. The stove is hot.
Hot stove.
Yeah. And then the other batch that I'm going to cover here is all of the potential free agents coming from the NPB and the KBO, which is Japan and Korean professional baseball, for those of you who don't know.
Which seems to be something that more teams are doing.
Dude,
and
I mean, Ha-Sung
it's
Kim.
shown to be successful.
Ha-Sung Kim, baby. And even look at, more recently, right? Who's on the Mets? Pitcher who just...
Senga.
Senga.
Kodai Senga.
Freaking so good. Potential Rookie of the Year candidate. There's so many.
Darvish?
Yeah, for a while it seemed like they came over, needed a little development. But now it's just instant impact.
It seems like and I don't say this as a slight to the organizations, but I think we can agree that the MLB is a different beast, and they're kind of like a 4A tryout team. If you are elite over there, good chance you'll be able to play and be impactful here.
Yep.
So they take the best knowing that, and they're like, that's a pretty good test you just passed. Here's the MLB. Go.
Do it. Run with it. And so there's a couple exciting names. The number 1 free agent coming out of Japan is Yoshinobu Yamamoto, right-handed pitcher who pitched in the World Baseball Classic, was the ace for that team. Not likely that the
Over
Padres
Ohtani.
Over Ohtani?
He was the ace over Ohtani.
Oh, that's right. Yep, he was. But yeah, the dude's apparently super nasty, going to sign for a lot of money, going to make an impact.
Not going to be with the Padres.
Correct. Yeah, he's linked to probably a New York team. However, another highly ranked pitcher coming out of the NPB is Shota, what's his name? Imanaga, which is left-handed pitcher who is tied to the Padres. He's actually one of the 3 teams that have the best shot at getting him. Padres were named.
You say he's from Japan? Mm-hmm. That's where Darvish holds a lot of value too.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, he's what you can be.
Right.
Coming out of
Everybody
Japan.
aspire. If you're a pitcher from Japan, you aspire to be Darvish.
Yeah.
That's just kind of
Or at least have seen his success and been like, I would love that.
Yeah. So, I mean, hopefully I would and again, if it's another need the Padres do. But imagine having, solid left-handed pitcher, too.
We
Come
need
in,
it.
tutelage under Darvish.
We don't have any lefties
3 or
there
4,
now.
so that would be awesome. And I was interested in this one since the Padres were flagged with his name. His best pitch, they say, is a 94, 95 mile per hour splitter.
I was just about to say, if this is a split, I hated hitting a splitter.
That's nasty.
It's gross, dude.
Nasty. So exciting there. Then there's just a bunch of, I'm not going to go too much, but there's a Cuban guy who is kind of a big time player, went to go play in Japan, is supposed to be a big time right-handed pitcher, but he's like figuring out eligibility status with and the Cuban players have a hard time with citizenship and whatnot. So
there was a while where there were no Cuban players because they couldn't get out.
Yeah, exactly. So he's figuring that out, but that's one guy who's been playing at MPB. Who else is of note? There's a Korean, Jung-Hoo Lee, who's a Gold Glove outfielder, kind of swaggy outfielder from Korea, but except you're not going to love. He's most likely going to the Giants, they said. So you're not going to love that part.
Boo.
Who else is of note? There's a couple other guys. There was two, maybe like one or two.
Like a big class coming from the international free agency.
I think it's just because, like you said, the level of international play is elevating.
Yep.
And they're translating directly to MLB quicker. Couple guys who are making a similar, I guess, path as like Merrill Kelly, Nick Martinez, where they played a little bit of MLB, didn't have a ton of success, go to the KBO, go to NPB, develop some things, get more playing time, and then come back and are highly effective. So there was one or two guys named that are kind of like that.
How much do you think the World Baseball Classic plays a role in the sense that you get to see these exhibition games against big league MLB players and getting to see how these other players' stuff plays at that level?
Right. I mean, Japan, right? They're the most winningest World Baseball Classic team. And to be fair, I don't know.
Not all the big leaguers
US,
go play.
Team still doesn't.
But still,
play.
You get to see.
But still.
They faced Goldschmidt, Betts, a ton of quality players, Trey Turner. And if they get shoved against, it's ooh, they can kind of do it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, the pitching on the U.S. team was nowhere near as good as it could have been. But, the lineup?
Yeah, it was legit.
Nasty.
Yeah.
And Japan still won. So that was a lot of fun. Last name I'll mention, Trevor Bauer. He's kind of been exonerated a little bit, right?
As he should in many ways.
Mookie Betts, did you see Mookie Betts was vouching for him? Did you see that?
No.
People were asking, because Mookie was the, correspondent for the World Series. They brought him on and did that. And somebody asked him, hey, saw the most recent news about Trevor Bauer, had a great year in Japan and was exonerated basically from all of these allegations and is not liable for whatever, any of this stuff, basically. What are your thoughts on Trevor? And Mookie Betts just said, I love the guy. And he didn't go too in depth, but he vouched for him.
Yeah, it's crazy because all the Dodgers and Dodger players, the minute that story hit, went,
yeah,
as they should. I mean, if it was all true, absolutely, that's someone you want to distance yourself from. But stuff has come out.
But I don't know, potential pod. Can you imagine Bauer with Tatis on the same team?
Be hilarious. Neither of them really dislike each other. They're both just gamers and showmen.
I think they liked playing against each other because they weren't afraid to show that emotion and to that was so much fun. When Bauer did his sword thing, did his one eye closed, and then Tatis hit a bomb off him, gave him one eye,
and then
Bauer wasn't upset about it. He was like, I got me. That's fun.
And he's openly said that. He's like, if they get me, do what you want.
Yeah.
You got me.
Yep.
So interesting thoughts.
That's an interesting one. I don't hate it. I think it's kind of interesting.
If he's cheap.
I mean, it'd be interesting because is he cheap? Because I feel even though he's innocent, I feel there's still teams that aren't going to touch him.
I agree.
Just
so he
because
should
of the
be
potential,
cheap,
right? And so why not Preller? Sign him.
We'll see.
Why not?
We'll see.
Hey, you just said Preller likes to have his name in the headlines. What bigger headline? Rockstar GM signs Trevor Bauer.
Formerly
controversial
accused.
Trevor Bauer.
Yeah. We'll see.
Maybe it's what they need.
We'll see what the MLB does with him, too, because he was also giving the MLB a tough time about everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in retrospect, it's a tricky one.
What else you got?
That was most of the free. Like we could talk about free agents all day. That's all the ones I wrote down because if I wrote down more, we would just dive down the rabbit hole and keep
Put a
going.
pin in it and
So,
keep everyone up to date
Yeah.
as things progress. If we start hearing more rumblings of some big name players like Cody Bellinger or company coming here, we'll talk
love
about
that.
that as it comes.
Yeah, I'd love that. But yeah, so I think that does it. Thanks for joining us. I had a lot of fun with these, little pop-up special edition
I can't
version
believe
of
we
the
have this much to
off-season.
talk about.
So it's great. And yeah, again, comment. We will respond to any of the comments, whatever. We love talking Pods baseball as much as it hurts.
Should Bauer come here? Let us know.
Yeah. Thoughts? That would be an interesting poll. I'm down. You got one vote.
We'll put a
here.
poll.
What about you?
For the right price, I would take the gamble.
Yeah? Cool. All right, then. We will catch you guys next time. See ya.